Okay, everybody. So, assuming you saw part one, here is the lady, Cheryl Thomas. So, the first video that you saw, part A, that was a year ago. Fast forward a year later, okay? Fast forward a year later, she wasn't the lucky one because the woman that he killed was her. On the clipboard, I said how he killed someone else a year later. Yeah, the someone else that he killed later, correction, it was actually her. The someone that he killed was actually her. All right. The daughter hadn't heard from her. I'm going to play this excerpt, and she'd call the police. The daughter lives out of state, and she said that the mother was in a domestic relationship. Okay. Let's go ahead and listen to this.
Hello? Yes, is this Destiny Brown Thomas? Yes, sir. Hey, this is Detective Brown, Tulsa Police Department. Is your mom Cheryl?
Now, this here you're going to hear is how basically she's saying that, hey, they found her deceased.
For days, which means that Kevin basically lied. I'll call family here. Hello? Yes, is this Destiny Brown Thomas? Yes, sir. Hey, this is Detective Brown, Tulsa Police Department. Is your mom Cheryl? Yeah. Okay. We got a call out there earlier today, and once we got inside the apartment, we found your mom was deceased. I am sorry to tell you that.
Now, just so you know, so Destiny had called the police initially asking for them to do a wellness check, and she made it clear that the mother was in a domestic relationship and that the man, Kevin, had beat her before.
We can't find the gentleman that lives there with her. Kevin Snotty. We haven't told you guys because he used to be her before.
You heard that?
Okay. Where did they meet? When he released from prison, they became involved.
So she picked him up out of prison.
According to Destiny, Cheryl met Kevin while doing work with her church group to rehabilitate inmates in Washington State.
One of the things you alluded to earlier is how come we didn't kick in the door earlier when the police came out there? Well, legally, technically, we could not. Officers had talked to Kevin, and he claims that your mom was at Muskogee. He probably didn't be here because she was weak. She had a pulmonary embolism. She had COVID. She had pneumonia.
You heard that? She just got out of the hospital. She said they probably beat her because she was weak.
And we're going to do what we can to put together a case and send the right person to jail and to prison. Okay. Thank you. Bye.
Wow.
So I've talked to the family and Destiny. She claims that there is a history of domestic abuse.
Brown looks up Kevin Snotty in the database.
So the video you saw, part A, guess what? That was a year ago. So they caught it on an officer's body cam when he gave her a black eye and the neighbor came out. That was a year ago.
So there is Mr. Snotty. There's a 2020 incident, and I believe there's actually body camera.
He pulls up responding officer's body cam footage from an incident that occurred a year ago.
You live here? Okay.
So the incident I showed you, part A, that happened a year prior. Okay, I know we're in 2024, so this must have been of 2021. So in 2020, officer called out there, the neighbor said that he'd given her a black eye, and that's when she said what? She didn't want him arrested. Keep that in mind. Unbelievable.
What's your first name? Kevin. Well, so here's the deal. Somebody just got beat up pretty bad.
Somebody just got beat up?
Kevin, here's the deal. We don't know anything yet. Relax. Just relax. Okay, you are being cool.
He said I beat you up?
No.
God.
That's the neighbor. She had a black eye from you.
So what's going on?
As her husband, that she's my neighbor. Give her a black eye. I don't want you arrested.
You hear that? I don't want you arrested. I don't want you arrested. Wow.
Oh, God.
Come over here for me. So what's going on?
As her husband, that she's my neighbor. Give her a black eye. I don't want you arrested.
Wow.
Because we got Mark on you and you're telling me he did it. State law mandates that I take him to jail today. Okay, he cannot get out for at least 24 hours. Okay, with that time, if you feel like you are in danger, and this is an opportunity for you to figure out what you want to do.
Maybe I'll make him seek mental help.
That's difficult. If he doesn't want help, obviously, we can only do so much. What I'm concerned about right now with all this situation is that doesn't happen again. I'm concerned for you.
Me too.
Okay?
Me too.
All right, Kevin, here's the deal. We were being told there was an argument between you and her, and you hit her in the eye. She does have a black eye, okay? Based on that, I have to take you to jail. Do you understand that?
Just turn right here and face me. I gotta get some pictures for your injury.
When he gets mad, he does what he wouldn't do if he wasn't mad. We watch 48 hours, and I say, Kevin, you could be stupid like these guys and just spur him on to do something stupid.
You think that he would try to kill you? Do you think he would?
I think.
Okay.
And he did. The cop asked her, as he's writing us a report, taking photos of her injuries, do you think he would try to kill you? She also stated that they watched the first 48, not realizing, ma'am, you're going to be on it. Twice. So this was a year before. She thought that he would kill her a year before, and he did. When he gets mad, he does things he wouldn't do if he wasn't mad. Stop making excuses, ladies. Oh my goodness.
He does what he wouldn't do if he wasn't mad. We watch 48 hours, and I say, Kevin, you could be stupid like these guys and just spur them on to do something stupid.
So they watched 48 hours, and now you sitting up on the first 48. Kevin, this right here, oh, I'm going to change him. I'm going to fix him. This right here, when you try to rehabilitate these men, I keep saying, and I don't, in a spirit of love, women always want to be the fixer. Guess what? We can't fix ourselves, because if that's the case, we wouldn't pick up dust buckets. But we're going to go ahead and fix somebody else trying to get a man out of the deal. We have got to stop the low self-esteem queens. Got to start loving on yourself. Love yourself. This right here is ridiculous. Kevin, and the cop is, she's got a black eye, asking her, do you think he would kill you? I think. And fast forward a year later, he did. Unbelievable. This is crazy to me.
Do you think that he would try to kill you? Do you think he would?
Well, now we know, because he did. A year later. Unbelievable.
Man, he does what he wouldn't do if he wasn't mad.
Mm-hmm.
We watch 48 hours, and I say, Kevin, you could be stupid like these guys and just spur them on to do something stupid.
Do you think that he would try to kill you? Do you think he would?
I think.
Okay.
And that's exactly what happened a year later. So in this case here, the first body cam, he'd given her a black eye. They took a picture of the injuries, okay? When they found her, I'll try and do that as a second video. When they found her, she was actually in the apartment in bed. He had buried her under some clothing. And guess what? She had a black eye. She had bruises on her chest. And she had been dead for days. And you know what he did? It was crazy. She had been dead for days. He didn't call us, the police, because of course they're going to get him. But he stayed and slept, he said, slept in the bed right beside the dead body for a couple of days. He even had a friend over for company, and the woman answered the door, and he was like, "Oh yeah, so and so didn't know that she was in there dead." But hey, guess what? At least she had a boyfriend. At least she had Kevin. This is just crazy to me. This is really just crazy to me. So this here, it looked like a different woman, but the eyes and the face. What got me was when I saw the name Cheryl Thomas that was on the clipboard. Then they mentioned Cheryl Thomas was the one, that was killed. So then they had the unfortunate news to call the daughter and say, "Hey, guess what? Don't forget the daughter, Destiny, is the one who called for a welfare check and told the police that he had beat her before." Again, she met him right out of prison, so obviously already an angry bird. He's already beat her before. The police asking you, do you think he would kill you? You think he would? I think, and now we know. And then when this happened, the daughter had said, "Did you hear the 911? The phone conversation with the police that she sure she wasn't shocked, like, oh my god, this happened." So this tells me a lot. She didn't seem all shocked. She's like, well, he was weak and because he could. But the whole idea, if this woman, people say, oh, she's so scared, so scared, but you have to love yourself. The first sign, be up out of there. She was so scared, so scared. Oh, I don't want to call the police. Why the heck not? Maybe had called the police. I don't know if she pressed charges. Ma'am, it had been time to go. But she's dead. He'll go back to prison. Dusties are very deadly. They are dangerous. They bring trauma, heartache, and drama. The financial implications. Look at the loss to the church and the family. This this is just so sad. This is so sad. It reminds me of that doctor. And this hits against all nationalities, cultures, rich, poor, you name it. This lady was married to a surgeon, and he started seeing some stripper, and for whatever reason they were having it out. He killed her, I believe, on Valentine's Day. And what he did, he was going to try and guess use his job as an alibi. He was a surgeon, so he did an operation for a patient in the ER, and then after doing that for hours, he left the hospital. They think came back home, murdered the wife, then ran back to the hospital. Guess what? They got him. They got him. But the sad thing is, the woman had told someone, "Oh, if I end up dead, or if anything happens to me, it's gonna be him." My thing is, why didn't you leave? Leave, ma'am, leave. And she did end up dead. But hey, I guess you want to stay in her mansion, and that's where they found her, dead in her mansion. That's where they found her dead. So this right here is the same thing. I don't know if these women are waiting for a miracle. Sometimes you have to be in love with the idea of love because you're not in love with yourself. You just wouldn't. I don't care if I had to go to a shelter. You would do something. I cannot comprehend this. Cannot comprehend it. So this here, the cops ask her, do you think, he would kill you? Do you think he would? I think, well, now we know. So this is it's sad. This also leads me to believe a little background on her. She was married before, seemed to be married to a good guy. Seemed to be married to a good guy from what everybody was saying. So I kind of take issue with the fact that how are you, 60? 60 years old or 61 at the time of her demise? How would you accept this? So it makes me wonder. I'm not accusing her deceased husband, but I'm thinking, I just can't see how do you go from having a normal relationship that's not violence oriented to one that is. So it makes me wonder, was she suffering behind closed doors? I'm just saying, again, not to speak ill of her deceased husband because I didn't know the man, but I'm just trying to understand, how do you go from a relationship that does not include domestic violence to one that does? Are you that lonely? I can't wrap my head around it. So let me know what you all think. But this is so sad. I don't want him arrested a year before after getting the black eye. And true to form, when they found her, she had been deceased for dead, buried on top of a lot of clothes. She had a black eye. Had a black eye and bruises across her chest where he had obviously beat her and left her there for days. They are so selfish, even sleeping beside the dead body. And I guess that's why he put a mountain of clothes. He had like a whole bunch of clothes, covering her up. This is ridiculous. So this here, if you're dealing with domestic violence, please, please get help somewhere. You may not, oh, I don't want to leave my house. Well, like this lady here, that was her apartment, and they found her deceased in her apartment, like the one married to the surgeon, married to Dusty Dan, the surgeon man who was with a stripper and all that kind of stuff. Well, guess what? She wrote a letter, and if something happens to me, it's going to be the husband, and something did happen, and they found her dead in her bathroom in her mansion. Okay? Life is more than having nice things. Life is more than, oh, I'm going to go ahead and hold on to this so I'm not going to be right. I'm not going to be wrong. People said this here, I'm going to go ahead and stay and prove them wrong. Honey, I would rather be wrong a minute day up and breathing than sitting up here trying to be right. And then when you end up deceased or dead, people already know, uh-oh, she's wrong. Yep. And he went ahead and sent her home. So let me know what you all think. This is just, it's kind of shocking, but then you think about it, it's not the first case, but the idea to see that she has a black eye and says here, oh, I don't want him arrested. And a year later, he is arrested. Why? Because he's arrested on a charge of murder. Thanks for watching. Feel free to comment, like, subscribe, and share, and I'm out. Unbelievable. Oh my God. That is just crazy.